Hey, good morning, sports fans. Louis Diamond live at you in our Las Vegas handicapping studios. And this is Bettor Center Live, where we come to you daily to get you the most up-to-date information on the sports gaming events, the betting events, so we can turn yourself a profit every single day. Yesterday, we had a nice day with three handicappers. Today, three other handicappers plus myself. I have Tony Gulledge and Chip Chirimbus and Ross Benjamin joining me here today. And we're going to go through a lot of football. But first, we're going to start with the NBA. But before we do that, good morning, gentlemen. How are we today?
Hey, good morning, Lou.
Good morning, Louis.
All right.
Good morning,
all right. You guys ready to talk? You guys ready to get right into it with some NBA here tonight?
Yes,
if
sir.
we said no, how would you react? Yes.
I would be
Tony, what'd you do? Catch a chill?
So I would be a little worried, but geez, I got
rightfully so.
All right, there we go. All right, sorry guys, had to get rid of that stuff off the screen. That sucked. All right. All right, so anyways, after a shitty opening of the show, we're going to come right out and get you some winners. We got the NBA tonight. The Heat got spanked in the first game of the series. Now the Lakers get steamed, open up a 5-point favorite. They're bet up to 9.5 right now in certain spots, and 9 in only a couple spots. Most spots are 9.5. Total is 216.5, a little drop from the 218. So, Tony, give us a little start off on today's NBA game.
Well, like you mentioned, Lakers dominated the Heat. Heat came out firing, hitting shots, 23-10 lead for the Heat, turned into like a 17-point deficit by halftime. Lakers controlled the action defensively. They just seem to be presenting more problems than the Heat can handle. The little white guys, unless one or both of those guys get hot, it's going to be tough for the Heat to win a game in the series. They're going to have to get consistent scoring from somebody. And right now, Butler doesn't seem like he wants to really take control and do the scoring load. And I'm not sure why he's not doing that, because they really need the points right now. But he's content with floating. With that said, this line is 9.5. You have Dr. Strange, Goran Dragic, that's my nickname for him, Dr. Strange from the Marvel movies, because if you put a cape on the guy, he literally would look like Dr. Strange. Adebayo, I'm not positive on his status for the day. I'm hearing he's not going to play. That would be a key loss, because defensively, he's got to try to guard Davis or LeBron, or switch off between the two. And without him, who the hell's going to cover these guys? So he's a huge piece to the puzzle. If he's not there, it's going to be tough. I'm going to take the Heat and the points in this game based on the fact that I think at some point they're going to cover a spread, and this seems like the best opportunity. Public jumping all over the Lakers. It opened at 7.5, immediately went to 9. So game one line was 5. Yeah, game 1 5 was 5 and went to 4.5. And so they put it up 2.5 points higher to start. So to me, that's an overreaction. I think the play here tonight will be on the Heat, as definitely not thinking they're going to win, but the points makes it very intriguing, and I think they can hang in there tonight.
Okay, Chip, do you think it's an overreaction? What are your thoughts on the game here tonight?
No, I had Miami the first game, and I'm not surprised if 2 players are out that the line's at 9.5, and I expect it to get higher. I really do, and I'm gonna take Miami here just because I always like the wounded or injured puppy. Maybe I don't know how the Miami even has a chance in this game. To tell you the truth, I think the Lakers are going to just romp all over them. But if I have to make a bet, I'm going to take the points, and it's not a very strong feel. It's just a lean, really.
All right, Chip, did somebody at Wardrobe must have called us and said we need to be blood brothers today, huh?
What happened?
So, well, my shirt was to come. Well, the problem is I wore the shirt last time to combat all the eye candy on the set, and here he goes, bam! Eye candy comes at me with the same shirt. Touche, bro.
I'll have to enhance my wardrobe, I guess.
Oh,
the shirt and ties.
You break out the Madras. Break out the Madras, guys.
All right. So, Ross, what are your thoughts here on Miami and the Lakers here tonight? You got something to throw at us, rubber match?
I'm not crazy about this, but I tend to agree with both Chipper and Tony on the take. I'm not so sure. I was talking to Chipper off air that this line move from the opening number to where it's now. I actually see 10 at Bovada and Heritage as well. So I mean, there are numbers as high as 10 there, but mostly at 9.5. Yeah. I think this is more a line adjustment than the Heat or the Lakers being bet up to this number because of the unavailability of Dragic and Adebayo. And partly, like Tony said, the public perception of the Lakers blowing them out in the last game. I think this, if you're going to go with the contrarian approach here, where public perception, the obvious play for the public will be, the Lakers blew them out the last game. What would make you think it's any different with two key players out? So for that reason alone, I'll have a small lean, Louis, on Miami plus the points. If you get them 9.5, I would say buy them up to 10. I mean, I could live in basketball with a push. I can't live with losing by half a point.
Yeah, well, speaking of that, one people always ask me, when do I want to buy a half? And usually it's almost never on a consistent basis. But when there's value within that half point, you certainly want to do that. But more importantly, you want to look at when you're buying to go from a loss to a push instead of a push to a win. So something that you want to keep in mind that I think, in the way I do it. If I'm going to buy that half, I'm going from a loss to a push on that.
I agree. Point. I agree, Louis. Yeah.
All right. Okay, so we got some college football here tonight. So that does. I don't have a feel for the NBA game too much. I would think that the dog would be the play, but once again, injuries, too many question marks. And BYU has been tearing it up, points galore. But LSU, Louisiana Tech, also undefeated going in. Couple offensive juggernauts. Obviously, that's going to give me a lean to the over. The total is 59 on the game. I think it's creeped up to 60 right now. BYU has gotten the steam, 21.5, and they've crossed a key number. Now they're at 24.5. And I think the question is that a knee-jerk reaction on BYU? Because they have put up a ton of points, and they've won handily in the last two events. Chip, you got anything to offer there on this game tonight?
But when I first saw it, the first thing I thought about, here's Louisiana Tech getting a bunch of points, undefeated.
Wow.
I thought the number was very high. And you know what? I'm wondering if what the bookmaker is trying to send us a message that this BYU team is for real. We saw them blow out one of the service academies early in the year, and they just may do it here to make a difference in class. As BYU may have stepped up this season. I think I'd like to take a good look at this game. And after it's over, I'll probably have a better feel for actually how good the Cougars are. But I would lay this before I take it, tell you the truth, just because I got an undefeated team getting more than 3 touchdowns. It just doesn't seem right to me.
All right. Ross, you have anything here on any opinion on this game here tonight?
I would say this. I mean, I'm not going to use the game personally, but I think Chip is right. If you look at this line move, it went from 21 to 24.5, as you alluded to, Louis. And when you look at the betting trends as far as the volume of bets versus the money bet, it certainly looks like a sharp money move. Now, having said that, it's a 3.5-point move. And that's a huge move. So if you got down early, God bless you. Otherwise, I could see this game ending up with one of those middles, Louis, for a guy who got down early and somebody who wants to bet the dog late. So that's it.
Yeah, I am a big fan of the middles. I'm a big fan of playing lines early because I believe I can speculate like the rest of them and the best of them. So just because I may not want to have a big bet on something, I may hit something early just on the speculation that if it's going to go and cross some key numbers. So if you were early and you got to 21.5 and you probably bought that down to 21. So at that stage, then you may want to buy the points if you have a whole package full of these middles and you're doing them all week and buying numbers at the right price. But if you buy too many numbers at the wrong price, it's going to kill you, because when you're trying to bet both sides of the game, your only expense is that juice. So, and that cuts you off and the juice adds up very quick if you're overpaying. But if not, and you're sharp and you speculate the right way, a lot of money in that arbitraging, betting both sides of the game. So we'll get into that in the future of Bettor Center. All right. So, Tony, you have anything to add here with BYU, Louisiana Tech?
Yeah, I think I touched on this yesterday. I'm taking Louisiana Tech into points here. Traditionally, they do well as a road dog. They do well getting a lot of points. I bet you have these numbers in front of you, Lou. But traditionally, this team, yeah, they do well.
27-10 as a road underdog. Yeah,
there you go. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
About 70%.
That is. And getting
I have
over
17
24.
point number. I just see the line by. I think this line is too high. I get why it's high. BYU 700 yards of offense against Troy. They demolished Navy that wasn't ready to play. The thing here for me is when you start expecting teams to do things, sometimes you'll get disappointed. I'm not going to fall into the trap of backtracking myself again. I'm just going to plow forward tonight. I'll be perfectly honest. My football plays have left me a little frustrated lately. Last night I had the Jets. We know how that shit went. So it's been kind of hard for me here the past week or so. But I'm going to try to fire back and catch a winner here with Louisiana Tech tonight, plus the 24.5.
All right. Okay. Tony, I think you're going to get back on the right train here tonight. I honestly do. I can't go against a team that has been just so strong as a road underdog. Yes, college teams come and go. Sometimes coaches come and go. But that record didn't come and go. It's still there. So here's a team that has a history.
I'll add one more thing. If you agree that Louisiana Tech can cover this number, then I think the over would be a damn good play in conjunction with it. You figure 59. So you're looking at 30, 40 to 20, 60. I just see, I think Louisiana Tech is the play, but certainly you could probably put that in a combination with the over the total, as I do think offense is going to definitely rule the night in Provo, Utah.
Okay. And I don't kind of disagree with that either, but then we kind of become hypocrites, because history says BYU will go under on a Friday night. We're going against that 20 unders and 8 overs on a Friday night BYU game. But Louisiana Tech, this BYU team seems to be a different team this year. So you got to have that a little bit of a worry. But at 24.5 points at this stage of the game, I'd say the money is on the dog. And you take a flyer with the over because you got two teams putting some points on the board. So I'll have to agree with you guys, agree with you there. And so with that being said, why don't we move over to Major League Baseball here today? We got a couple games left on the schedule, and we got the Marlins on the Cubs, 6th on the mound, and he is against what's that, the number 2 man on the Cy Young, Yu Darvish. And Darvish is now about a $2 favorite. The total is at 7. The wind blowing in. And you got something on this, Ross? I think you were telling us the wind was blowing in a little bit.
Yeah, the wind's blowing in 10 miles an hour from left field. Not uncustomary. It's either blowing out at that degree or blowing in at that degree. With the number being at 7, I don't think the wind factor, the number is in accordance with the wind blowing in. I think that's all baked in. It's hard to imagine Miami having much success offensively against Darvish today. On the other side of the coin, Sixto Sanchez, terrific. I think Chip brought this up early on in games, but as from the 5th inning on, he's not quite as effective. And I'll go even one step further. His first 5 or 6 starts were very good. His last 2 on the opposite side of the spectrum, not good at all. So it's hard to imagine the Cubs not getting even here. It's just a matter of whether you want to lay the 1.5 on the run line with the Cubs. And I'm certainly not going to lay 2 to 1, nor would I recommend anybody else do. Back to you, Louis.
Okay. Yeah. Sixto in his first rookie outing, and his is this his first playoff start? So could be a little nerve wracking for him. A little nerve wracking his last couple outings. Are you seeing it? How you seeing it there, Chip?
Well, like I mentioned yesterday, his ERA in the first 5 innings of his starts on the season is 1.76, I believe. And then in innings 6 and 7, it's over 11. And there's no side for me but the Cubs here today. Whether if I have to lay the run line and make it an even money bet, that's fine. I'm not going to lay 2-1. I usually don't get involved in these kind of games, but it's do or die for Chicago. And I think the Cubs need this. Of course, they need it. I would go with Chicago if I was to play it.
All right, little Cubby action. I was still looking at it like yesterday with that under. We still got the wind's leaving blowing a little more directly in. I know that the number is factored into it, but I think you got the right pitching matchup to get an under here today. What do you think, Tony?
Well, if you know how I read these MLB games, I'm all about the starting pitchers, and I read the trends. I try to make the tea leaves out of reading the trends of the pitchers. Darvish started the season 7 consecutive starts. He gave up 0 or 1 run. Then he had 3 starts where he gave up 3 runs, 4 runs. So he hit kind of a lull. But in his last start, he went 7 strong innings, giving up 3 hits and 0 runs. So to me, that's ticking back. It's almost like a bell curve. You peak and then you crescendo and then you go to peak again. I think this is a spot that Darvish has set up to pitch well. I like the Sixto kid, I really do, but I think this is just a terrible spot for him. Cubs in a must-win situation. For me, this is my best bet in MLB today, Cubs on the run line.
All right. Okay, guys, we got a lot of football that we want to talk about. So real quick on the San Diego-St. Louis game, give me a quick opinion. Ross.
Yeah, I like the way San Diego came back from 2 4-run deficits yesterday. They showed their moxie. A lot of power in that lineup. Jack Flaherty making a start for St. Louis, and as Chipper astutely brought to my attention, although he's been great going into this year, he hasn't been great this year in particular, especially on the road with an ERA of over 9 and 4 road starts. At this particular moment in time, I would have a lean toward the Padres in this game.
Okay. All right, Tony, real quickly.
Padres got off the snide, actually started scoring some runs. The bats got hot. Tatis hit back-to-back home runs in 2 consecutive at-bats. I think the Padres got their act together, got the win. I think they cruise into the next round with a win today.
All right, Chip, what do we got? Anything?
Well, I haven't posted the game as of yet because we still don't know. Like we said, it's going to be a starter by committee for the Padres. One thing on their side, I do like playing teams that won the day before, and the fact that they had lost 10 of 11 playoff games to this team. That really bothers me because maybe the Cardinals really do have their number. And the pitching for the Cardinals, like we said, hasn't been as sharp as we would anticipate or expect. I think the Padres may have a shot here, but right now I'm up in the air with it.
Okay, all right. So, real quick for me, it's going to be bullpen fest today, which means I think it's going to be another overfest. Get on the over as soon as you can get yourself some available action on it. There should be some money there today. All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break, but we got Tony C, man on the street, coming back. I'll let you know where he's from, where he's at, as soon as we get back on Bettor Center Live.
Brad Stein here live from Las Vegas. Join us daily for Bettor Center Live with our professional handicappers, where you get sports information you can bet on. Stop gambling, start winning. Bettor Center Live.
Thank you, Bettor Center. Tony C, your man on the street here, and I am standing before you in front of AT&T Stadium, home of the Dallas Cowboys, a windy day here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And this Sunday, the Cleveland Browns come to town to take on Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys, and that is the Baker Mayfield 2-1 Cleveland Browns that come in as an underdog here. They're actually plus 4.5. So the line sits at minus 4.5. Dallas Cowboys over and under 55.5. But moreover, it isn't so much about the line and the total as it is are the Dallas Cowboys, are they going to ever cover a spread this year? They're 0-3. Against the spread this year. Now, they are at home, and coming into this game, I do like their chances to cover this 4.5, because if you looked at Cleveland's last performance on the road, which has only been once this year at Baltimore, I mean, they got trounced. They looked just totally atrocious. Also, they weren't that strong of a road team last year against the spread. So Dallas Cowboys at home, Dak Prescott and company, -4.5. Is this the week, Bettor Center, that the Cowboys are going to cover the spread? They're 0-3 against the spread. I like the Cowboys at home, and it is a must-win situation for them. We already know they can put points on the board. We know that. 31 last week against Seattle, 40 the week before against Atlanta. So we know they're going to score points. $64,000 question, again, Bettor Center. Are they going to cover the spread? I'm going to throw it back to you guys. Take it away. Do they cover the spread?
All right, thank you very much, Tony. Big question. Will they cover the spread? The Cowboys, I'd be very leery of laying on the Cowboys at any point in any juncture right now, but I won't be leery about playing them in an over matchup. And, you know, the NFL is averaging more points in quite some time. Ross, what do you got, 8 overs this week? You got some numbers there for us. Talk to me a little bit about these overs this week.
What really jumped out to me this week, I talked earlier in the week about how the numbers, the totals in particular, would be escalating up the ladder because of the record pace the NFL is at right now in terms of combined points scored per game over the first 3 weeks. As a matter of fact, this has been the highest scoring first 3 weeks of the season in NFL history. And it's reflective upon the totals this week. If you look at the remaining 15 games on the board, we have 8 totals of 51 or greater out of the 15 games. That's unprecedented. You want to keep that in perspective, or you want to put that in perspective, I should say. Louis, since 1983, there's only been 349 games with a total of 51 or greater. That's an average of a little over 9 totals per year, 51 or more. There's 8 of those totals this week alone. And it goes back to what I'm saying, folks. What you're going to see over the next couple of weeks is bettors overreacting, because the last 2 weeks, the majority of games have gone over the total, the high scoring we just alluded to. And what I think we're going to see in the next couple of weeks is some games going under the total that relatively are high scoring games. A perfect example of that was Monday night. I mean, that total was 54.5. It fell at 54. And somebody who had the over in that game, or the under in that game, whatever way you want to look at it, they lost as an over player, and they won as an under player with a falling on 54. So my recommendation to the viewers and listeners out there is keep an eye on that. They're going to continue to force you to play high overs. You have to be smart enough and pick your spots where you could find value in going under the total in situations such as this.
Well, let's look at some of those spots here this week. And, Eugene, I know we don't have all the games that we can line up right now, but I just want to kind of touch on them real quick so people can be a little bit of aware of what's happening. You got the Saints and the Lions. Total was 56. Now it's bet down to 54. I kind of agree with that under move a little bit. Saints haven't been pouring on the points, and it has a potential for an overlook, but that under reality. Cardinals and Panthers, 51. I see that one as possibly that hasn't moved. I think that might be one that kind of goes over the number. The Cowboys and the Browns, that got steamed, 54 to 56. So they're not scared of the number. And then you have Seahawks and Dolphins, 54, solid number all week. Everybody's talking about it over. Hasn't moved at all. Could this be one of those spots? Tony, what do you think?
So we're talking over-unders on which game specifically, Lou?
Seattle and Miami. The game hasn't moved. It was at 54, but all I'm hearing and all I'm thinking is over. So Seattle,
I see.
It's just
like,
a flat
I
spot
agree
for them.
I see exactly what Ross is saying. These over totals have been clicking up. It's at unprecedented levels, the numbers the books are putting on the game. Pre-show, we were discussing. I I thought the defenses would be behind due to the lack of preseason, and that's kind of showing in the scores of the games that the defenses need a little bit more time to catch up. I think as the season progresses, the defenses will get better, and the scores of the game will slightly, regress back to a normal pattern. Yeah, a game like Seattle-Miami, I can see Miami not doing much of anything. 50, I mean, it's amazing. 54 just is ridiculous to me. I can see many scenarios where this game goes under the total.
Chip, what are your thoughts on the new high totals in the NFL? Any ideas, thoughts?
Well, actually, to tell you the truth, I have no idea. I don't even write the totals down. This is new for me, that you guys tell me 54, 50, 55 and a half. I'm not, and I do not write them down. I don't need that cluttering my already confused brain or what's left of it. It's tough out there. And sometimes I see numbers and I think, oh, that might be particularly high, or, shouldn't that be lower? But what's happening is, from what you guys are saying, is that I really don't have anything to compare it with. Like you said, maybe 47 was the average last year and 53 is the average this year. And I haven't really noticed it because I don't track it.
Okay.
So,
well, I guess in the end, history is telling you that the unders are coming, and they're going to probably come in a swarm because the overs came in a swarm. It all has to hit a medium, and the bookmaker makes the adjustments, and people will overreact to betting the overs at a time when the market is high. You're basically buying it at the top of the market. At least that's what the pros are supposed to be selling to you right now. But the question is, and the question still remains, is history really going to repeat itself right now? Because these players are in a different scenario that we haven't seen before. Is this game just really going to start opening up? Because whatever reason, we don't know yet. They have to play, and we have to have a sample size to find out. So it's still risky to jump on the unders. It's still kind of risky to jump on the overs, and that's why the bookmakers got a job. All right, so the next game, let's hit some college football here real quick, guys. And college football, let's go with our next game on the schedule. Memphis at SMU. The game opened up at 2. The total 74. We had Tony C out there on the field early in the week, giving us a little vibe for the over. I'm liking that over here today. Do I have anybody? I know Chip's not with me on the total, but does anybody have anything to offer on the SMU game? I'll start with you, Tony. How's that?
Yeah, I actually got SMU here. I think there's line value. Memphis with a little bit of rust, possibly. We'll see. I noticed a lot of these teams starting off, they got their win against Arkansas State, which is not, I don't think it impressed anybody. So I think this, I don't know. I just like SMU. The line value's there for me. I see this as a pick 'em. I see SMU by 4 or 5 points. Basically, that simple. I think the value's on SMU.
All right, Ross, you have anything going on this game here today? TCU. Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead. SMU.
Yes, on Wednesday, Louis, I gave out SMU plus the points as my most interesting play today. My mind hasn't changed since. You could also go to my website. You'll see a video on this game where I elaborate a little further. Just a quick reminder, folks, if you go to my website, rbwins.com, my college football and NFL picks combined are 17-6. That's my pay selections over my last 23, 11-5 in the NFL. Last 2 Saturdays in college football, 6-0. Again, that's rbwins.com. Back to you, Louis.
All right. And, guys, one thing about Ross, he doesn't need to bullshit you. He'll tell you when he's doing hot. He'll tell you when he's not. And right now, Ross is hot. I wouldn't be afraid to go over there and give him a little bit of a nod. So thank you for that, Ross. All right, Chip, do you have anything, any opinion at all on it?
Yeah, I do. I see a ranked team, Memphis hasn't played in 4 weeks, coming into SMU, who's a scoring machine. Maybe the way to go is over, because that Tiger speed on the Memphis side of the ball is outrageous, and it has been. Whether they're going to be able to get into sync after being down for 4 weeks is another story. SMU has had a prolific offense as well, and I'm kind of miffed at the fact that they're a small underdog at home, although when you realize that Memphis is the ranked team, that probably justifies it. But my first instinct was that the public and would gravitate toward SMU in this contest, getting points at home with the way they score. So right now, I don't have a selection on the game. I'm not going to be using it, but I lean toward Memphis, as a matter of fact.
Okay, a little lean on Memphis. And as you know, I am leaning and a little bit more than a lean on the over 74 with Memphis and SMU. Now let's roll over to a Big 12 matchup. Oklahoma opens up a 10-point favorite, and they have been bet against. Iowa State has been the move. The total 62, and that was a little bit of an older line, so I'll give you an update. But while I get that update for you, Tony, you have anything with Iowa State and Oklahoma?
If you're playing this game, you have to take Oklahoma off a straight-off loss. I don't keep track of the numbers specifically. I kind of keep track of it up here. I know Oklahoma off a straight-up loss dominates against the spread. They're only laying a touchdown to Iowa State. I know this series has had some close games. I just see this as a great spot for Oklahoma coming off the straight-up loss. And traditionally, it's always been a good spot. No reason to change that here. Oklahoma for me in this one.
All right, Ross.
Small
Oklahoma.
lean toward Iowa State right now, Louis. Opened at 9, down to 7. Yeah, I agree with Tony. Oklahoma would seem dangerous coming off a upset loss like they did last week. But I just don't like going with a team as a road favorite after they blew a 21-point second-half lead, and then going against a team that lost their home opener and now are chomping at the bit here against a ranked opponent in Oklahoma. Until Oklahoma straightens out their defense, guys, I'm not a big proponent of laying points with them on the road. Over the last 2 years, Louis, they can't stop anybody. And I like Purdy, the quarterback from Iowa State. I think he's primed for a big game here. And Oklahoma was very mistake-prone last week too, guys. So, again, small lean here, Louis, on Iowa State plus the 7 at home against Oklahoma.
Okay, Chip.
Well, we've got 1-1 here in this game, and I have the definitive winner. How about that? But you're going to have to go to chipwins.com to get it, because it's going to be one of my top releases on Saturday. Oklahoma at Iowa State, chipwins.com.
Oh, my.
Oh, Chipper. So you're not going to let me have a pick on this one. Damn it.
No, maybe off the air. Maybe when we close.
All right. I will. I'll leave that one and reserve my opinion off the air on that one. All right. Next game on the schedule, Auburn, Georgia. It's hard not to think that Georgia is going to have their defensive way against this Auburn offense, but a lot of steam on this one as well, I believe. So Auburn, Georgia. What are your thoughts there, Tony? The steam was on.
Yeah, I'll say no definitive play from me on this game yet, but my initial lean is the line is a little too high. I would gut saying to take Auburn. Georgia looked really good against Arkansas. Once they got it going, they sluggish start. Auburn, it's one of those teams, man. You want to back. Whenever I seem to back them, they don't score points. Every time I've tried this team, but if you go against them, they'll put up 55. I don't like their coach really that much. I think he's kind of too fruity. He's not consistent. You never know what the hell this guy's going to do. He might go for a 4th and 2 from his own 10-yard line. Always something with this guy. Tough SEC matchup. I think a touchdown's good to take, but right to this point, I haven't committed on it.
All right. Tony is leaning on the dog. Chip, you feel the dog barking here today? And which dog? The Georgia Dogs or the underdog?
Or the Bulldogs. I'll tell you the truth. When I looked at this game, my first instinct was that the number was very strong. And when you think about Bo Nix leading Auburn, and Auburn, who everybody faded their opening week, and they crushed Kentucky. Now I think they may gravitate toward them. Georgia struggled in their first half against, I think it was Arkansas State or some misnomer. But they ended up winning. I just think this is a very strong number for Georgia at home. And I would lay the Bulldogs over the Tigers.
All right, little Bulldogs over the Tigers. Looking for the dog to beat the cat. All right, Ross, you got a deciding factor for us?
I agree with Chipper. I agree with Chipper, Louie. Look, this is an Auburn team that comes off a win last week and a cover at home against Kentucky, but they had just a little over 300 yards of offense against Kentucky. They were beneficiaries of a +3 turnover margin in that game, which ultimately was pretty much the deciding difference in a game in which the total yardage was pretty even. And also, last week, Kentucky was one of those sweetheart plays for the public. And what ends up happening a lot of times psychologically with the public is they think they had the right side with Kentucky, and because they lost, they think Auburn's real good now. And I think they're looking at the underdog here. I just think there's a lot of value in Georgia here as a small favorite by their standards. Okay, when I say their standards, most times than not, they're a double-digit favorite at home. My lean here is going to be on the Georgia Bulldogs, late a number against Auburn.
All right. I'm going to have to agree with Tony on this one. I think the points have a little bit of value. I don't think that but actually, if I want my best play on this, it's going to be the under. I think both teams are going to struggle to score, and I don't see the points being. I think it's one of those games where Auburn's not going to put points on the board. They're not going to be able to move the ball on this Georgia defense, but at the same time, Georgia's offense isn't going to do much either. I don't think that they don't have much to offer on the offensive side. They rely totally on their defense, and I think that bites them as the favorite. Last year, they were up 21-0. They wound up 21-14 game. So I think the back door will be ajar in this event. So that being said, let's just get some quick little NFL here, guys, before we end the show. And a couple games we kind of talked about real briefly. So be real brief if we can. Saints and the Lions. Saints open up a 4-point road favorite. Totals 54. The Saints, are they going to rebound finally here against the Lions? Are the Lions going to be flat after the big road win? Ross.
Yeah, this is a game I'm going to stay away from, Louis. We talked about this off air. I got to be convinced that New Orleans is not going to be the team that everybody's seen the last 2 years. And if they lay an egg here, I'll be convinced of just that. Otherwise, if they come back here, they've had a good road record the last 2 years. To me, off the top of the cuff, Louis, this looks like a trap game. They're inviting you to take New Orleans. So if I had to make an opinion right now, I'd have a very small lean on taking the Lions plus the points at home.
All right. Tony, you got a quick opinion on this one?
Yeah, similar thinking to Ross here. I think that's kind of a trap game. Detroit blew their first home game to Chicago, had it put in the bag. Then they played better on the road, got blew out at Green Bay, but then won at Arizona. New Orleans, the defense is so sketchy right now. I would be so worried about laying points with the Saints on the road. Not a play yet, but I'm definitely leaning to taking Detroit here.
Okay. Chip, you have anything else to add on this one?
Yes, I do. And how about this? I'll think about a total in this game because I have two quarterbacks that are looking to put the ball. How about that? I got a weak defense with the Lions, and I got two quarterbacks that are going to throw the ball.
2020.
Is this game supposed to go over the total?
Is
I would
it
say
supposed
it's going
to
go over, but with Stafford. Well, Stafford and Breeze, even though Breeze looks like he's fallen more than Brady, to tell you the truth, this season. But, it's like I said, that 4 is awful shallow number. And with these two quarterbacks, I can't see them not putting the ball in the air. I would say that if you're going to play the total, Chip Trim is going to give you the over in this one.
Well, Chip, 7 out of the last 8 home games for the Lions have gone over. So we'll give you that one. There you go. Very nice. Nice pull there, Chipster. 5 out of the last 6 Saints games have gone over the number. I think I said a little bit earlier. All right, but in October, 9 out of the last 13 have gone under. There you go. Let's crush that Eagle real quick. All right, okay, yeah, good. But okay, so Chipster's coming with an over here. It is 2020, and it is an overplay. So I don't know what to think about that now because I did feel like that might be the one that smells a little bit, but I got to feel that I can't get off that Saint bandwagon yet. they've been a great road team over the past few years. And Detroit, after the big win, I got to use the Saints on the teaser. I got to think they're going to win the game. Maybe they just barely win the game after 2 losses. I got to still have a little faith in Mr. Breeze.
Hey, Louis,
So,
Michael Thomas
yes.
is back this week too, so that might be a contributing factor to your play as well. You know,
are you sure? You sure he's officially back?
Yeah, it says it's pointing toward him playing. Now, there's no definitive report yet, but usually when they say questionable in the NFL, it's probable. When they say doubtful, it's questionable. You know what I mean? If they say out, well, then it's out. You know.
No, well, that's really good information, Ross. Because guys, if they announce Michael Thomas playing, that game's going to 6.5, or maybe 7. He's going to get backed. So at that point, you can play the Saints and grab yourself some buyback on the Lions towards closer towards game time. All right, one last game on the schedule before we wrap this thing up, guys. We got the Chiefs, we got the Patriots, and here's the big question: Bill Belichick. He's a home. I mean, he's not a home underdog. He's a touchdown underdog, and probably the 70% win percentage as an underdog. Now he's facing Mahomes, 12-1 against the spread. These Chiefs look unstoppable. Belichick, but their defense doesn't. They can run the ball. The Patriots could run the ball on them. You know, Belichick will try to kill that clock. So tough call right now. Who's got something interesting on this game? Chip?
Well, you know, Kansas City's just annihilating people. Look what they did to Baltimore that Monday night. And now they come home and they're playing the Pats, who beat the Raiders, I believe it was last week. I think it's a strong number. I really do. I think that maybe the Chiefs can put up enough points, or possibly the game goes over. I haven't really looked at this game intently as of yet. I do most of my NFL work on Friday nights and Saturdays. So right now I'm passing this game, but I think that it's a strong number, and it should be because the Chiefs have been dominating.
All right. Okay. And Tony, you have anything to add there?
I agree. It's a strong number. It's probably right about where it should be. My first instinct is to lean toward the Patriots, with the Chiefs coming off the big road win on Monday night, but I'm not ready to commit yet. I might have something over the weekend on this one.
Okay, Ross?
Well, if you're a contrarian player, I guess you need to go with New England, right? Because Kansas City, coming off that dominating performance on Monday night, one last day to prepare. They outgained Baltimore by nearly 300 yards in that game, which is mind-blowing, especially on the road. If I had to make a small lean, though, Louis, I would reluctantly, because I hate the Patriots, but from a professional standpoint, reluctantly have a very, very small lean on taking the points in this situation.
Sounds like a Bills fan to me. By the way, I'm not a homer, but by the way, the graphic here had the Patriots as a 7-point favorite, and it's the Chiefs that are the 7-point favorite.
Yeah.
So
I'm taking the points.
Okay. All right. So, guys, I think this could be the changing of the guard. Everything just reeks Patriots. You know, short week for the Chiefs. Belichick is an underdog. But I think the Patriots just have their pieces together. And Belichick, the history of knowing how to slow these fast teams down when he has to, against a weak running defense, they're going to be able to run the ball. But the problem is once they get behind, they're not going to be able to run the ball. You know, they're going to have to really rely on something. I think this is definitely a Chiefs on the teaser. But I think the Chiefs, you know, I think they send a message across the NFL here this week. So we'll see what happens. All right, so let's get to the most interesting game of the day. See if we can put some money in some people's pocket. If you wanted to put some money in somebody's pocket today, Chip, what would you tell them?
I would tell them that they have to wait and see what the starting pitchers are for San Diego. But then again, it's going to be all staff out there for the Padres. I think it's a really interesting game. But you know, St. Louis has beaten them 10 out of 12 times in the playoffs, yet the momentum and the flow here should be with the Padres. I think San Diego might be the side.
Okay, and St. Louis is, we do have Flaherty on the mound for St. Louis right now. Still San Diego undecided. There is a total out there of 9 over and 9.5. Tony, what's your play of the day? Interesting play.
Let's go to the NBA Finals Game 2. You got the beat-up, beleaguered Miami Heat. I'm going to take the points in a spot where it looks like they should just probably bow down and get kicked in the ass. I think that's the most interesting play. A beat-up Miami team getting the 9.5 against the Lakers in Game 2.
All right. Ross?
Yeah.
Can you give us something real interesting here today?
I gave you SMU as an interesting play on Wednesday. I gave you the Miami Dolphins yesterday, plus the points against Seattle. I'm going to give you a pace selection that I'm going to use this week. The Cleveland Browns at the Dallas Cowboys. This game opened at 5.5. It's down to 4 and 4.5. In a lot of public action, as always, on the Dallas Cowboys. Look, this is a Dallas team right now. Defensively, they're lost. And say what you will about Cleveland and Baker Mayfield, but they can move the ball. They also, in my estimation, Louis and guys, have the best 1-2 running punch in football right now, and Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. And I think that will come into play here. And Louis, I know you love this stuff. But anytime you have an NFL road team that scored 30 or more in their last game like Cleveland did, and they're facing an opponent like Dallas that gave up 35 or more in their last 2 games, 21-4 straight up since '83. That's favoring the road team, 21-4 straight up. And you say, well, why are you using a straight up number? Because the road team is an underdog here. So 84%. I'm going to go with the Cleveland Browns here, plus the 4.5 at Dallas. It's my most interesting play today.
Well, stretch it out, baby. Let's put some money line on that stuff. I got no problem with that. Nice. And that's a paid selection, guys. So there is a difference when you jump behind the curtain, so to speak. So, all right. My most interesting play of the day is pretty obvious. The San Diego-St. Louis game. It's going to be loaded with bullpen action throughout the day, which should keep you in a high-scoring festive affair. Enjoy the easy winner. And please join me again tomorrow. I'll be with Tony and Dell. We're going to go over all the college football action for you on Bettor Center Live. We'll be here 7 a.m. Pacific time. And please subscribe on YouTube at Louis Diamond or here on Facebook at Bettor Center on Facebook. And you'll get the games as soon as we can get them to you. This is Louis Diamond. We'll see you again here tomorrow morning on Bettor Center Live.